travel takes you outside of judgments and perspectives you had towards any subject and makes you ask more questions.
Yeah. It allows you to reflect on yourself and be, I'm actually good in this kind of environment and awful in handling this particular thing.
Part of that is just releasing urgency, creating more space around things. We
Yeah.
were trying to slow down the process right from the beginning.
Slowing down opened the door to the experience of awe.
Or is this ability to see something as bigger than you
Yeah.
and to sink in and allow it to affect
Yeah.
you. You have to be really present to feel it and to notice. So it wasn't denying what I was feeling, being able to hold that and then look at what was around me. And I felt so peaceful and light. The gift of awe is that you can re-access over and over again. What if thriving wasn't about getting life perfect?
But learning to find peace and purpose right in the mess.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Tom, and we walked away from the version of life that looked right to build one that feels alive.
We'll talk about the beauty and the struggle, from parenting and marriage to faith, well-being and travel.
This is The Whole of Us.
If you've ever needed a reason to travel, then this is the episode for you.
I'm here for it. I'm excited.
Gosh, just talking about this makes me want to travel. Which is crazy because can we be honest for a second? I never wanted to travel. Well, the last time we went overseas, I was pregnant with Isla and I was so nauseous and sick. And I just remember getting back into Australia and thinking, great, I never, ever have to leave Australia again. And then here we are.
Certainly took some convincing to get you on a plane again.
And now I'm hooked. Every
honestly,
time.
I think you're more hooked than I am now.
Yeah, I've already planned the next 10 years of travel. I have a big bucket list of places now.
It's pretty amazing though. I think there's something incredible about spending a long time traveling to really recalibrate how incredible our world is.
Yes.
Like how unbelievably diverse and interesting and fascinating and like just confronting like the people and the places and the things and it's
and also just people are generally really lovely
and good and kind.
Yeah.
And food is delicious in so many places.
Yes, you are a foodie. I much more prefer hiking. You make me eat. It's great.
I make you. It's a hardship for you cooking all this delicious multicultural food.
Tom is the cook in our family, praise God. I think I just couldn't have imagined the deep benefits that travel would have. I think you think of travel and you're like, oh, that's amazing. And, it does.
It'll be a nice escape. And...
Well, I don't even know if it's that. It's just the thing, like we'd save up money and we'd go travel and it connotates this holiday feel. This was transformative.
It really was. Don't think we could have imagined the benefit in leaving.
So, there is this concept called travel therapy, which we've just come across.
We stumbled across and went, that's what we did.
Exactly what we've just done. And it makes sense when you start going into like all the research and the detail. I think what I couldn't believe was how accidentally we fell into this physical, emotional and spiritual reset, given the countries we went to. So we started in Southeast Asia. We did Thailand and Vietnam, and that was a physical reset. We were in the water. We were hiking. We were in a fast-paced city. There wasn't a lot of time to process cognitively anything. It was just physical lived experiences. Oh, we need food now. We need to go for a walk now. We need showers now. It was very, very fast paced. And then when we got to Europe, we did Middle East and then hit Europe. That was interesting because that was very much slowed down.
Yeah.
Southeast Asia nearly burnt us out in a different way, in a physical way, but our bodies then needed a rest.
And European lifestyle is much slower pace.
Yes.
I think, you go to the markets, you have a siesta, you do life in community, and there is a beauty to it that we let ourselves kind of fall into and embraced for a long time.
And that really allowed us to go on more of the actual healing journey.
Yeah.
While still caring for our bodies. And then we rounded out the time
in North America. Visiting some churches there and meeting really beautiful friends. And that was really healing spiritually. So I think it was an all-round whole well-being process. It was very cool. Part of the thing of looking into this concept of travel therapy, though, is there's a few key concepts that stand out as the things that make the difference.
Yes.
Because you can just go on a holiday, you can go and look at tourist sites and it just be a nice thing.
Or you can just go and lie on a beach for a week. That's great too. But there's an intentionality that comes with stepping into this kind of travel. And so there was a few things that stood out to us. So the first of those being new experiences. And it's a funny one to say, oh, it's nice to do new experiences, but we don't do it in our normal lives.
We get so comfortable.
And it makes sense. Like routine is safety.
I think the novelty of experiences and different, it forces you to be in the present because you cannot think outside what you're currently learning and experiencing. It's very difficult to be worrying about something else when you're just trying to understand the language or understand what. Someone's coming in. When you're just trying to understand understand the language or the people and you're interacting, it's very intense.
Yeah, well, and you can't plan ahead, and so your brain is in this present moment, going, "Huh, how am I going to deal with this?"
Well, at least in the moment when you're doing the new thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that then creates a whole need for flexibility. And again, like habitually we want to stay in the same patterns. It feels easy to do the same things, but when you don't know where you are or how to speak the language or what food's going to turn up on your plate, you've got to just embrace, okay, this is different.
Yeah, and just thinking about the kids, they were phenomenal. Kids are so resilient and good with change. It's really harder for us.
Yeah.
But even there were places we went for food and it was really spicy, or it was, they ordered garlic bread once and it was a slice of white toast with chopped up literal raw garlic all over it that they just couldn't eat. And they just took it in their stride. There were times that they were hungry, or we didn't have our typical breakfast, lunch and dinner. It was breakfast and then a snack and then dinner
at 10 p.m. at night because there was no food.
And it's just incredible what you're capable of doing. For all of us, I think it proved our ability to actually be flexible and still be kind to each other and still cope and survive. It was very cool.
So much of that flexibility came from letting go of expectations.
Yes.
Like we were having to step into a place of expectancy where we were going, it's going to work out. It will be okay. But we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know like where we're going to get food. We don't know what that's around the next corner. We don't know who the people we're going to interact with are going to be like. And that unpredictable nature of life, it can be scary. But there's this beautiful kind of flip side of like anxiety and excitement that like that same scary can actually be super exciting, and create this anticipation for what we're stepping into. And so like that sense of anticipation also means that you've got to step out of the familiar patterns that we're used to. And this is again where like travel forces it. And particularly if you go to countries that aren't familiar to your culture of origin. And so we very deliberately spent most of that first year in countries.
Do you think it was deliberate or was just like the cheapest flight?
That may be truer. Whatever reason happened to be. It happened that we spent most of that first year in countries that didn't speak English, that weren't typical tourist countries, and that were culturally so diverse.
Or at least if they were tourist countries, we would do like a couple of days the touristy thing and then the rest of the time in rural places off the beaten path. That's the type of travel we really like, which again speaks to the intentionality of this type of travel, that it was seeking out places that would actually really challenge us. It was cheaper. It was better food, out of the hustle and bustle. We don't like big cities and things like that. So,
and I mean, so much of what we identified as well is that touristic travel,
it's very consumeristic.
It's consumeristic, and it damages the cultures in so many ways. It's going to islands in Greece where there's no locals that live there anymore because it's just a tourist island now. It's like going to these cities where the locals don't actually staff the restaurants anymore. It's all immigrants from other countries that are staffing the restaurants because the locals have left.
Which brings about another element, that you care about what you know about. And because we had been traveling and slowing down a pace, we were able to talk with people and meet the community and really understand. Even in Thailand, the guides that took us out into Phang Nang Bay, they were locals. Yeah. And they were very much like, please don't go on those massive tourist boats because it's so, you're not supporting locally. It's in this mass tourism. You're damaging the environment. It is an interesting thing because I know that is a lot of how the families survive. It is on tourism, but it just makes you think, I wonder if there's a way that we could do this better, or if a way that's a little bit more honoring and respectful for the places we go to. I just think it's a bit more nuanced than what we have time to discuss right now. But again, travel takes you outside of the judgments and perspectives you might have once had towards any subject and makes you ask a few more questions.
Yeah. And that perspective is so beautiful because it allows you to reflect on yourself too.
Yes.
And really see, I'm actually really good in this kind of environment and really awful in handling these stresses or doing this particular thing.
It definitely helps identify your strengths and weaknesses. I have recently been made aware, thank you, dear friends, that I have a leaving day energy.
It's a thing.
I didn't realize it was a thing, and I'm very sorry to everybody who's seen it, but I just basically run around like a headless chook and freak out at everybody and then go fall in a heap somewhere, and you end up doing most of the packing work.
We love all versions of Kelsey.
Whoops. So that is something I've recently learned about myself, but I'm really trying to try. And part of that is just releasing urgency, creating more space around things.
Yeah.
So airports were really stressful for me because it didn't matter how early we got there. I was still worried that I would miss it. And I think that's many people experience that. But that was an interesting thing to communicate, that this is an area that I feel anxiety around. So let's just get there an hour early and have a coffee. We were just trying to slow down the process right from the beginning.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Slowing down opened the door to something that has become so close to both of our hearts, the experience of awe.
Yes. Love this subject so much.
And look, it can sound kitsch. It can sound really just like awe. It's so awe-inspiring. Maybe not.
I can see it would be floaty or maybe like, this concept of awe. But I think when you truly understand it, it can be life-changing.
Yeah.
It's probably very closely linked to gratitude and mindfulness.
Yeah.
But the concept of awe is this ability to see something as bigger than you and to sink in and allow it to affect you. Or bigger than you, not necessarily in size,
but in perspective. Or it's this thing that it puts you back in perspective again and almost connects you to this like eternal or ethereal concept. And
and it also makes you be very present.
Yeah.
Because for awe to impact you, you have to let go of all those other like busyness and rushing through. You have to be really present and
to notice it,
to feel it and to notice it. And that was really profound on our healing journey.
Yeah.
I think, again, at the time we were doing some emotional health work. So I was doing some study through a course in the US. We both were the first year. And a lot of that was just deep internal healing. It was very, very messy. And I think I'm so grateful we were doing that course, because one of the first parts of the program was to understand our internal worlds and connect to safety around us. And that concept allowed us to see at every moment in every situation, there was essentially something to be grateful for or to connect to it as a resource. So right now in this room, there is so much oxygen. I'm not running out of oxygen, and allowing that to impact me and to think, wow, there is more than enough of something that I'm going to be looked after. So it's taking a felt experience and creating meaning around it and letting it sink into your body. And I think that was pivotal for the transformative journey of travel.
Yeah.
Because you can be in the most incredible places in the world and be miserable, or having a fight on a like perfect Greek island,
and we did that too.
We definitely did that. Yes.
But the moments that we were able to slow down and connect to ourselves and to each other, and then lean into the experience that we were having. Like, I'm just thinking that bay that you mentioned before in Thailand. No, not the bay, the lake.
Khao
Sok Lake.
Yeah, incredible national park. If you ever go to Thailand, you have to go to Khao Sok National Park.
This place,
phenomenal.
It's like a safari on the water.
Yeah.
And you stay in these overwater bungalows that, look, it's not the Maldives. It's not.
It's definitely not. There was running water, I do believe.
They were cold, but
Lassie definitely fell through the boardwalk to the cabin into the water. So like, just lower the expectations, but maybe also increase expectations because it was it was a safari. It was it was very cool.
You're floating through this lake or cruising around this lake in these traditional Thai boats that it's got these limestone islands sticking up out of it, and you're surrounded by rainforest, and there's every large Asian animal you can think of in these rainforests.
Somewhere in there.
Elephants, leopards, the sun bears and all the monkeys and the birds. And it continually just sat there and went.
Well, what's crazy is I remember the day we left, it was the most perfect sunshine day. And we're on these little, what do you call them?
Longtail boats.
Longtail boats, yes. And I just remember actually sitting there and like listening to my heart a little bit and feeling really sad. I just felt very lonely. You were processing a lot of things. This is another one of those perfect places that how could you possibly be miserable? But I remember allowing the sun to impact me and then looking around and using my like 5 senses to experience the awe and wonder that was actually around me. So it wasn't denying what I was actually feeling because there were things that we were going through at the time that deserve space because it was necessary not to just push it away and, oh, we're in Thailand, we've got to enjoy it. No, because of the longevity of the travel, this was actually just our life. At the same time, I remember being able to hold that, see that, and then look at what was around me. And I felt so peaceful and light. I will forever be thankful for that moment because I look back now and I can remember what that feels like because I took the time then to experience it. And I think that is the gift of awe. When you sink into it, it is a gift you can re-access over and over again.
Yeah.
And we have, like, you look at the photos and you allow it to sink in. I remember the wind on my face and the warmth of the sun and the sound of the birds and the look on the girls' faces. And it's a memory, but it's so much richer than just that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the more we've looked at awe, the more like you understand the incredible like effect it has on your spirit, on your mental health, and on your physical health as well. Like
the research is crazy.
It's not like it physically lowers your inflammatory responses. Like it brings down your stress levels, both, and it does something to us which I get lost for words around it because it's just it's almost like the way we were meant to live. It's this childlike wonder, and I think that's something that we've discovered more and more of traveling with the kids is that we would be standing in front of the pyramids and standing there going, wow. And they found a little lizard on the ground and going,
no, it was the bats in the pyramid. We climbed, we go inside this pyramid. It is Indiana Jones on steroids. It's terrifying.
Wildest adventure.
You're in the depths of this pyramid, but there are bats. And all the girls can think of, oh my gosh, there's a colony of bats. Is that what they are, colony? Yeah. And I was like, gosh, they won't remember the pyramids, but they might remember the bats. And yet it was so profound because we get lost in the grandeur of like trying to make these big landmarks. And like the pyramids were incredible. That's not to dismiss them. That is an incredible experience. But also at every level, there is awe and like gratitude and delight to be found. It was such a gift traveling with kids. And everyone out there who are like, oh, I can't travel, I've got kids, or let me tell you, go, because it is. They do something to you. You see life differently through their eyes. It does slow you down because it has to slow down when you've got kids and, you know, everyone needs to sleep, but we need to sleep. So it actually was a gift to us.
Exactly. And regardless of whether they remember things or not, I couldn't care less.
But there's a felt experience in them too. Yeah. And our girls will remember. They were 6 and 8 when we left. And it was just...
Precious. Precious is what it was.
Yeah, it was really good. So I think also important to us because it did play a big part in our healing journey as well. And I think it gave us a greater capacity to deal with the things we actually needed to heal and to process and to look at. I think this is one of the things that make any type of therapy potentially dangerous when you go in and unpack all your trauma without having an other side that increases capacity.
Yeah. And I think that was the beauty of the process for us was whilst we were going through this kind of emotional health course and working with our own therapists one-on-one, we had this like joy that we were stepping into on alternate days, alternate weeks to go, Oh, that's right. Life is beautiful. It is stunning.
Sometimes I felt guilty for that because I
Yeah.
realized the privilege and the opportunity we had, and I just wasn't happy some days. And there was this awareness of, if I could be here in the most beautiful parts of the world, what people dream and save up for their whole lives, and still not be happy, that felt a little hopeless. So that's like a whole other, you're making me old now. So that's a whole other side to it. But it was really lowering the stakes even in that and what we were experiencing, that it didn't have to be this massive experience that was going to life change us. And ironically, it was in the small habits and in the slowing down that created the maximum transformation. It wasn't in the epiphany healing moments or, a great therapy session. It was the repetitive, consistent leaning into awe and presence that ultimately changed our whole lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's such a beauty in doing that process away from the normal kind of format of life that we had, because as we like break out of routine and break out of the habits that we have, we're confronted with why we do things. And so because we were having to continually reprocess, recommunicate, relook at, what's today going to look like? We then had to go, how do I want to show up in that? And be conscious of it.
And the cultural experiences, like you talked about, most of the time overseas was in non-English speaking countries, different religion to us.
And that difference creates perspective. It is so precious.
And self-reflection.
Yeah, because I think it's so easy to get stuck in our box of what we know, what we understand. And I think social media has heightened that even more so, because you get stuck in a silo of the same views being repeated over and over again in slightly different ways.
It's also, I think, the judgments people hold without ever having actually experienced it or been there. So we were in Egypt, and actually we're in a little tribal town on the
border of Libya.
And I was invited to a wedding, and it's Islamic country, so it's very different to our own culture, and women and men are separated. And I went in there, and my gosh, it was just the most beautiful experience of joy. And meeting all these women who were just dancing and their hair out and they're in all this color and makeup. And it was very different to what we had seen on the street. So actually we'd seen hardly any women everywhere. And I actually said to our one friend in Siwa, I was, are the women oppressed here? And I'm sure, I mean, in all cultures, there are obviously negative, like pain, humanity. But she said to me something that really impacted me when I was sort of saying, these women are oppressed. Are they okay? I never see them anywhere. And she's like, they feel sorry for you. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, they see you out there and they hear that you're at the marketplace with all the men having to like buy the food, and that you're not like, where are all the women surrounding you? Where's your sisterhood? You're so alone. And all you have is, your husband and your children. And, for those families too, it was a small little family. And whereas they have their aunties and the uncles, and every time another member marries in, they get another house on the land that they own. It's a very community driven culture. And these are tribal cultures too, tribal families. So it is a little different probably to just mainstream what do you call
life
it? World. Yeah, different to mainstream life. And it really just shook me a bit, because I had really judged the culture and really judged how they were living life, and the poor women. And again, there is obviously a negativity to that, and we can hold both views about it. And in this conversation, it's hard to really go into maximum detail. But just in that little comment, I was like, yeah, I really haven't asked anybody. I haven't really thought through it. And she was right. I was living without a sisterhood. I mean, imagine having babies surrounded by women who had done it before you, who were coming up behind you, that you would have a baby and you would just constantly be in care, being cared by all these women. And it actually made me a little sad, because I know that I wish I had that.
Yeah.
And there are times we live so isolated from other communities. So I just bring that up to be like, that perspective shift made me realize how important community is, as well as a number of other things. But in coming back to Australia, that I was like imagining, how do we create a life that's way more connected? And again, it costs you because there's vulnerability and authenticity required. And also, I imagine the family dynamics in these communities. But there were so many experiences like that that really just shifted my perspective on things and shifted how I now want to live my life a bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah. These cultural experiences are just profound.
Yeah.
And that time in SeaWorld was unbelievable in shedding so much light on just the differences in how we do life now compared to how ancient cultures have lived for thousands of years. And look, one of the other places that we really noted that was going to blue zones, like in Sardinia. Blue zones, if you don't know, are places where there's a high percentage of people that live over the age of 100. And the beauty of that place was they were just doing life. There was no wellness culture. There was no like, oh, we have to go to the gym 5 times a week and have to eat this certain way and have to like tick off all these boxes.
Yeah.
It was just so gently paced.
It was just them living. That was the wellness tools they were doing. It was like they got up in the morning, they got up late because they all sleep in because they have a late night because they're hanging out with friends.
Yep.
They have a high value for religion or something bigger than themselves, which include festivals and marked on the calendar anniversaries and that type of thing. They eat really good food. They move. It's mountainous terrains. They're up and down. They're in the ocean. They spend a lot of time in community, cooking, having a meal together. It's literally just how they live their life. And it just makes me, I think we're reflecting on it today, just thinking about how we it's almost an effort to try to incorporate wellness into our lives. We have to create room for it. And these people just live, and that is their wellness routine.
Yeah.
And they're happy.
Which is telling of the pace of life that they live.
Siesta. There's a siesta as well. Sleep.
But we're being so challenged coming back to Australia and to Western culture, which runs at an incessant pace.
Yeah, very fast.
It's super challenging to like stay present when everything around you is moving at such a busy way.
Well, that leads into, how do you allow transformative travel to affect you when you return home?
Yeah.
How do you maintain that?
It's really hard. And I think this is one of the things that if you look at some of the research, they say like at least 33 days or something. But I would say even longer than that creates time for new routines and new patterns to take place.
But I think they do talk about, just imagine you go off to the woods for a couple of days and you're sinking in the awe and the nature and eating good food. Those resets are so important. So we've had the luxury of a long time of travel, and obviously the longer you do it, the better. But you could, like, how many people do we know who do 6 weeks to Europe and they're exhausted when they come back? And I get it. It's high stakes. They're low on time, low on money, and they're just wanting to see as much as possible. And there is obviously a place for that. That's probably not what we're talking about, because we've also done that type of travel, even within the travel we've just done. But I think if you've got a heart for transformative travel, for burnout, for mental health, it was really helpful. Because of the pace we started going. If we'd just gone very fast, it would have probably bled into the crisis of mental health you were having. But
and that is one of the things that, like, we traveled in lots of different ways as we did our journey. And initially we did get pretty fatigued. Like Southeast Asia, the 2 and a bit months that we spent there, we were moving every 1, 2, 3 nights to new places, and we were doing new things nearly every day. And whilst it was amazing and we covered so much ground and we saw so many cool things and we had so many incredible experiences with wonderful people, we got to the end of that and went, we can't keep doing this.
Yeah, you see that from world schooling families and long-term traveling, that you just can't live at that pace because you are doing life. There's admin that you're doing, there's conversations, there's work that needs to be done, there's schooling, and you can't.
But even at that
continuously
pace, you don't get the same time to actually slow down and reflect on the experiences that you're having and truly integrate them.
Yes.
And so one of the first things that we did one of the biggest changes we made in the way we were traveling was slowing down.
Yeah.
We decided that we wouldn't spend less than a week in a place so that we could actually have a day of exploring and then have a day at home.
Unless it was an expensive, like, capital city, like in Athens, we did 2 days very quickly to see all the sites, and then went out to the islands and did a couple of weeks
we'd have
in
a couple
one
of weeks.
spot.
Or Switzerland, where it was just so expensive that we went, we'll just do a day here.
Good times.
Good times. It's a long day. Beautiful day. One of the other things that we found with travel is that if you're pushing through too many different experiences too fast, the actual physical and mental stress on your system, it so quickly becomes overwhelming.
Travel is so dysregulating. Like, if you want to see if a relationship will make it, travel, right? Because you're just overstimulated. You're in a different environment constantly. Things are going wrong all the time, and you're having to adapt constantly. It is really stressful in a beautiful way, if I can say that, because I realize the privilege it is to travel. But it is not a holiday, the type of experience we did. Yes, if you're just going to the resort and you're having a very planned out travel experience, I imagine that's a lot more relaxing. We were making decisions on the fly, so we didn't even know where we'd be sometimes the next day.
Yeah.
So to that point where if your intention is to, what do you call it? Sorry.
Yeah. To that point, there are people who carry different capacities, and we know families and friends who they don't want to have forward plans. They want to just go day by day and kind of go, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
And we did begin to lean into that more and more the longer we went for, because we'd built a greater trust that it was actually going to work out okay.
I think we also just didn't have that much capacity to plan ahead. I just got so sick of the decision making, and oh my gosh, that fatigue's exhausting. But yes, you are right. There are we obviously were traveling with children, so we needed longer down times. We needed days where we did nothing, had the home days. So how we built in the care for our bodies and our minds and our spirits was really to have those slow days. We did journaling. We were both doing seeing an emotional health consultants and other therapists through this journey. We were catching up with friends online.
And we were recognizing the inbuilt capacities that we had and not judging them. So
it was like a self-awareness.
Yeah, like recognizing that, you needed to be at the airport an hour earlier than what I thought we needed to be at the airport, and reaching a compromise where I went, okay, we'll just do it, and I will be content sitting and drinking a coffee.
And were we all happier?
Yes, because Kelsey's leaving
so many
energy.
things can go wrong on the way to the airport as well. And that did happen many times when the Uber was supposed to arrive and then nothing came and we're running through the airport today. Cannot live like that. Because I know my nervous system, as soon as you start rushing, I move into a fight or flight and get dysregulated. Naturally, your body's like, when you physically, somatically start moving faster, it tells your body there's threat.
Yeah.
So just the activation of that was not worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the other big priorities we had was with sleep. And one of the really curious things is that the first night you sleep in a new place, your body won't actually sleep properly.
We found that to be true. Yeah. Maybe some people that's different.
Some people maybe can, but there's a sense that your body, because you're in a new environment, it senses potential threat, and it just takes time to calm down. And so this is where the pace slowing down significantly allowed our bodies to actually truly rest.
Yes.
And one of the other big things was creating structure around what sleep looked like.
Yes. Did I carry my pillow around the world with us? Yes.
Yes, we did.
I found a really cool thing to wrap my pillow up to compress it down. But yes, I knew it was a non-negotiable taking my pillow, because I knew I would need that to sleep. I have historically not slept very well. So I had like a white noise fan, I had eye mask, earplugs, and a pillow. And they were things we just had to do because that's what was required to be able to travel, because we needed to be able to rest.
Absolutely. And again, that's not for everybody, but that was just understanding what's going to help me feel relaxed and safe, that I can actually rest properly and then enjoy what we're doing. One of the other big things we found was that we
just on that note with the sleep, it meant we would either pay more to stay in places that were quieter or had aircon, or the setup was better, or we would be in a less convenient location. So if we were in a city, it was further outside the city because we had to prioritize sleep. Yeah, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, so like one of the other big things that we prioritized was recognizing that we thrive with movement and with water. And so we found that, okay, if we can spend more time in summery weather, where we can be swimming, where we can be active outside and doing things, we knew we were going to be happier and more settled as a family and each individually. And
so less time in England, basically.
Yeah.
My gosh,
how did we end up doing so many months there?
Yeah, we did quite a few. We had family and friends there.
We did. But even within that, like, with the rain, we kind of just went, okay, well, we're just going to have to embrace it. So good rain jackets, and we got out and we moved our bodies, because it's so easy to stay inside. And whilst like I could have spent days exploring museums and art galleries, for you that was going to drive you insane. So it was like, okay, well, we need to do different.
I think I've come around a little bit on museums, but I'd much rather be in nature. Yes.
Well, so this is where outdoor museums, they're a thing.
We found a loophole, guys. Absolutely. And then we've talked about it earlier, but the meditation and the grounding and a lot of mindfulness practices that
and prayer.
It just saved us. Routines within family, I think, as well. Like we had structures of bedtime routine with the kids, how we set up our days, which was another reason why the slower travel was really important, because it allowed us to lean into, we would get up and so actually we carried candles with us a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Actually, in New Zealand, they took all those matches out of our suitcase.
They did, actually,
I'm just thinking
they
went into our suitcases.
Country, 22 countries, and New Zealand was the one that took out
They
the
snuck
matches.
into us, and we didn't even know until we saw a receipt in our bag for all the things
Thanks,
they'd taken out. New Zealand, we love it.
Wow.
But it is fascinating. Just little cues that, I don't know, like allow us to sink deeper into presence and peace and regulate our nervous systems.
Because again, like the reality was, travel was never going to fix who we were or what we were doing or how we were showing up.
There is no greener grass.
No, but it was going to give a really beautiful reflective lens and perspective and new experiences to actually recalibrate who we are. And I think this showed up most beautifully in family. And I love us. I love our little family.
Yeah, me too.
Our girls are just
delightful.
Unreal. Just so delightful. We'll get them on and have a chat with them sometime, because
I'm forever grateful for this experience, for the way it has bonded the four of us. I cannot speak more highly to just the concept of travel and how it forced us all to really lean in. Part of it was there was literally nobody else. You were going home with this person. You were going to be 24/7 together. So you had to figure it out. We couldn't be grumpy. We couldn't be mad at each other. And there was a lived shared experience that was constantly happening. We did this crazy day in Switzerland where we had walked over 20 Ks this day. We went to a pool to kill time. We'd been up since 4 a.m. We got into Greece at like 2 a.m. or something. And our flight was delayed out of Switzerland. And I just remember this, we were just push. We just got to get on the plane. And we just looked at each other and we all just started melting down. There was, infighting happening, separation. We were just beyond exhausted. And we just gathered together and we said, hey, I'm feeling exactly what you're feeling. And we just talked about it for a minute. We thought, let's do this together. And we went and got a $25 hot chocolate to share between all of us. But thank you, Switzerland. But it was those types of experiences where we were able to quickly repair, our communication improved. I don't know, our ability to really see each other differently and have more compassion for each other. I just think it was such a beautiful thing.
One of the most precious things with the girls was also being able to share these awe-inspiring moments and actually be present in them. Like I just remember standing in front of the Eiffel Tower and even seeing that for the first time. I remember the look on your eyes.
Oh my gosh, it was
it
was
much out
cooler.
Of one of the tubes, wasn't it? Oh no, you hadn't seen it until we walked around
I covered
the
my
street
eyes
corner.
until
That's
I knew that I was going to get a good view of it. Yeah.
And just the look of delight on your face. And the girls had seen it earlier in the day because they'd been exploring with my sister.
Well, because everyone had told me it would be tiny. Get your expectations super low. And this thing's massive. So that was very cool.
And then we just hung out in front of it and took silly photos and danced with the girls.
Had a baguette.
And we did. We had a delightful picnic. But these moments that you just kind of go, which looking back on now, we just get the giggles with the girls as we share stories and talk about like the little nonna on the Greek island who just kept giving us cake that the girls were happily accepting, and then they never ate because they're like, we don't like it, but wouldn't tell her. Oh my gosh,
she was so delightful. We could not speak at all between each other. They knew zero English and we didn't know enough Greek, but I cried when we left her. I feel emotional thinking about it. She gave us this big hug, this nonna, what do you call it? Nonna hug, and a big kiss, sloppy kiss on the girl's cheeks. And I just felt so loved.
Yeah.
It was those types of moments that we leant into and laughed, and I'm so grateful for them.
It's just precious. So like those awe-inspiring moments, the moments where we built resilience and the moments where we worked together as a team to sort out problems.
It does. We reflected on this today, just in how easy it would, how high stakes these awe moments or like the transformation can be, but actually it's all around us.
Yeah.
And coming home now, we've only been home a couple months, trying to lean into our new reality of a fairly consistent life, that can still be beautiful. I mean, you can go outside and have bare feet on grass and lean into the beauty of that. Like how crazy that this thing has grown from the ground and it needs sunlight and water and it feels a little scratchy and soft in the wind. And I just think it's all around us. So you don't need to travel the world to experience this. I think it's a big plus if you can travel, because it changes your perspective I think it just is ultimately the thing that can bring, sorry, I'm talking about, hang on.
I like you talking.
I think ultimately
perspective shift can happen in crazy ways or just in small ways. Like we love just going, okay, let's not go to the same place that we used to go to. Let's go to a new cafe or a new park or a new thing that's maybe a few extra minutes drive away. But it's, this is different and this is interesting and we can just lean into a different moment. It's leaning into conversations with new people. I think we're so afraid of having conversations because we'll cause offense or because we'll be judged for what we think or say.
Or because we don't know how to, because relationships are hard.
They are.
And I don't know how to do it.
No. But I think this has been the beauty of, even around the world, when we haven't had shared language with people, there's some good thunder going on, but we haven't had like the same language, but we've had a few words, but you make it work.
Just a smile, right?
Yeah.
Brings so much joy to people.
And seeing the girls do that as well, like the girls engaging with kids all around the world, regardless of how much language they shared or not, but playing games everywhere.
That's so true. If you want to know how to like enjoy life, look at your children.
Yeah.
Look at the kids across culture and language and all the barriers you could possibly think of. And here they are just playing a game in a playground with kids.
Yeah.
So I think,
as we kind of wrap up this conversation on travel, biggest hope is that you would just be able to lean in a little bit more to a moment.
I mean, it's encouraging for us too.
Yeah.
I feel inspired.
Just having this conversation, it's beautiful. And that could be a moment of like, what's outside? Or it could be a moment of, do you remember that time and just slowing down enough to feel it again, really feel it. Like, what did I feel in my chest? What did I feel in my fingers? What could I feel on my face? What was the noises and the smells and
it's actually easier and harder than you ever imagined. It's not hard. It just takes time and it takes presence and it takes a slowing down to do. And we can all do that. No matter how crazy our lives are. We have friends at the moment who are in the most horrific situations and they're still able to access some joy. And I just encourage you, no matter what today looks like, that it's presence and joy, it's all around you, that awe is everywhere.
Yeah.
Even in a city with grey buildings, there's still maybe something beautiful about the angles of that, or the shape of the sky rise,
or the way the sunlight reflects off something.
I think, yeah, I mean, God's created such a beautiful world for us to fall in love with, and I think there's so much more beauty if we just slowed down and noticed it. So go outside, take your shoes and socks off, go feel the grass and the sun on your face, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.